I don't feel alone. We just settled in and it already feels like home.
You're listening to the Feels Like Home podcast with Mike Throne and Marty Ford. Powered by Horizon. This is big. This is gig.
Hey, we really are back. See, we didn't lie. We were coming back eventually. Okay.
Our people are forgiving, Mike.
They really are. I think I'm the only one that really cares about it.
I think we worry about it more than anybody else. But
so it's been a long break, but this is a good opportunity to tell you all that we didn't go away. It wasn't like anything bad happened or no tragedies. We just had some scheduling things that happened. We had some life things happen. The holiday happened.
Yeah.
We
got to enjoy our holiday.
I was excited to see Marty's kids came into town and we're here. My whole family was with me on Christmas, which was a little unexpected. So that worked out really, really well. And so we're back, and this is going to be a new run of shows. In fact, we've got 3 new shows coming out for you here real quickly in successive weeks. Plus, we've got some others already being taped. So we're excited about tonight because hopefully you're going to feel the energy on this one. I don't know how you couldn't.
Yeah, went to another level when you walked in the room. So I've known Tyler Woodbridge for probably 20 years, probably since he was in high school. Always a high energy kid, kind of a goofball. But then honestly, like it was always, he's the lovable goofball.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And so, Tyler moved away for a while, and then through a series of things that happened, ended up back in Chillicothe. But he is, a contestant on a Fox game show called We Are Family, that is hosted by Anthony Anderson, who, if you, have watched Blackish, or he was on an episode or a season of The Shield, and a lot of different things that he's been in. He's a tremendous actor, and more importantly, his mom is on the show.
Yeah, they're fantastic together.
But this show is a lot of fun to watch, and I don't just say that because Tyler is a friend. I say it because before I even really kind of got to see him on the show, I watched a couple episodes and got hooked on it pretty quickly. So Tyler Woodbridge is with us tonight. He's also an author. He's written a couple of books. He'll talk a little bit about that as well. But we're excited to have him on the show, and I think you'll hear the excitement in his voice for sure.
For sure. Yes. So, there was no mistaking it.
So we give you Tyler Woodbridge, and hopefully you'll enjoy this, and we'll be back next week. Well, Marty, I think we're the least famous people in the room.
I think you're right, Mike.
Let's put it this way. There's only one of us in the room that's been on television. And, other than YouTube.
You were
on
that
YouTube.
Count.
But we have Tyler Woodbridge with us today. Tyler is a native Chillicothean. We're excited to have him on because he is living a long time. Would you say it's a bucket list item that you're on the show?
Absolutely. Like Marty and I had talked about before he came down here, watching game shows is a rite of passage for anybody that's, young baby boomer, Gen X, millennial, like growing up watching The Price is Right, Wheel of Fortune, Jeopardy with parents and grandparents and bonding over that, playing along and always saying, hey, you know what? I can do better. And when the opportunity comes to prove that you can do better, you go and you be better. And that's what really drove me, not only just living out a bucket list item, but just trying to find new and innovative ways to, boost what I'm doing and to provide for my kids at the same time. That's what it's all about in the end.
Yeah,
sure.
The name of the show is We Are Family. It's on Fox. It airs on Thursday evenings or Wednesday evenings.
Yep, Wednesday evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern. But if you miss it, not everybody has cable, but a lot of people have Hulu. So you can watch it starting the next day, streaming on demand on Hulu as well.
Which is where I've been catching up on it.
Right on. Yeah,
and I've also, while I'm watching football, your smiling face, for better or for worse,
comes on my. They've used your expressions a lot on the commercials.
Oh man, I've noticed that there's nothing crazier than like Sunday afternoons for me. It's like I'll be riding up to Columbus with some friends to go to like a brewery or go out to eat or whatever, and then all of a sudden I look at my phone and there's like 17 missed text messages because everybody saw a new commercial, and that's almost more surreal to me than the show itself. Is knowing that everybody watching Fox football on Sundays is seeing my face pop up every commercial break. And that's just the trippiest thing of the whole experience for me, honestly.
Yeah. Well, and I've known Tyler for quite a while. I first remembered him playing football, and I think you wrestled as well, didn't you?
Absolutely.
At Chillicothe High School. What year did you graduate?
At Chillicothe, class of 2006.
Okay.
Go Cavs. And shout out to Dan Ramey.
There you go.
But now as captain of the wrestling team my senior year, played offensive line under Bill Davidson. And then I played 1 year at Wilmington College. Go Fighting Quakers.
There you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I've known him for a while, and I've always thought his personality was suited for something bigger than just doing whatever he was doing. And he's also an author, a published author, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But let's talk a little bit about the show. And I'm super curious, like, how did you get on the show?
Well, I've got a very dear actress friend of mine. Shout out to Lucy, who I'm sure is going to be listening to this. She does a lot of like independent acting or commercial acting, and her agent just feeds her jobs. And, even the small time actors have to turn some stuff down, right?
Right.
And so after the divorce, I was kind of struggling to find my way, and I'd expressed to her, hey, I want to, try chasing some dreams, have an early midlife crisis. And she's like, I've done some acting, right? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, there's jobs I don't take. You want to try out for a few? And I'm like, yeah, let's go. And so she sent me a few game show auditions that she was sitting on. And I sent out like an audition tape and everything. And then like not even 2 days later, I'm getting calls from Los Angeles area codes to set up Zoom meetings. And they have actual network executives sit in and on those. Over 20,000 people auditioned for this particular show, and only 100 plus 16 alternates were actually chosen to make the trip. So win or lose, at least I can say I was in the top 0.5% of 0.5% of people that auditioned for this, which is really mind-blowing.
Yeah. And to set up the scene of We Are Family, because I think the thing that really kind of blew me away was just sort of, you think of a game show as two people against each other, or maybe three, or there might be 3 or 4 or whatever, but This is a lot grander than that, isn't it?
Yeah, and I just want to say this is the closest knit group of contestants you will ever hear about on a television show, period. We really took the We Are Family aspect of this to heart when they put over 100, outgoing, talented, extroverted, creative people into one hotel together for 2.5 weeks. And we're not allowed to leave or do a lot of wild stuff. We were checking in our phones like every morning before we even left the hotel. So you're forcing over 100 people to basically get to know one another in a real tight place as we're waiting for the actual show, the practices or the tapings, the rehearsals. And we all just got to know each other in a really real way. And it's like, I've already seen it, between people having losses, people having successes, everything in between. There's already been reunions, people visiting each other, helping out one another on podcasts or creative projects or just in life in general. And there's 90 of us in the group chat out of 116. And I'd say probably about 10 of those are only not in it just because they don't use social media, wildly close. And you'll hear it whenever a star player gets chosen and goes up to the main stage, we are all chanting one another's name. We all rallied in support of one another, and that is worth more than all the money in the world, to be honest with you. Yeah. It's been exciting.
It's been kind of fun to follow it from my perspective too, as somebody that considers myself somebody that really follows popular culture pretty well, and maybe less so over the last 10 years of my life. But when I'm sitting there and I see, the one that really stood out to me was Joel McHale.
Oh my God.
When he was on the show.
Yes.
And his family member was singing and they were working through all these different clues.
Yeah,
man, I missed that one entirely. And I thought, geez, it must be really difficult to be on this show because the clues, I guess, do get you there, but if you get it early on those clues, like you're a genius, if you ask me.
Right. Yeah. For example, for me, whenever, and I can talk about this because it's already aired, so I'll open up about this. JoJo Siwa, one of the nicest, most energetic, vivacious celebrities I've ever had the fortune of meeting. And I guessed her immediately because of my daughter.
Right.
Because my daughter has JoJo Siwa loofah, bows, apparel, all the stuff that she's been putting out in the marketplace these last few years. 5 to 6 year old girls gobble that stuff up, and that's how I knew. But on the flip side, I said it before and I've said it again, I'll do anything for smooth music. And I missed big time on Carney Wilson. I actually missed Carney Wilson because the pressure sets in when you're in that environment. Stage lights do something to a man. Yeah. It almost like it inflicts amnesia or something. And so even though like the most obvious things like the Phillips head screwdriver, the carnival for Carney, in retrospect, that should have been obvious, but I was brain farting. I know she wasn't in Wilson Phillips. So I was like, oh, that's got to be Ann Wilson? ? Yeah. I was like, no, I know she's in Heart. I'm a big Heart fan, but I just couldn't remember the first name of the Wilson Phillips sister, or sisters, because Wendy was in the band too. Yeah. So it's tough.
And so just to give everybody a sense of what the show is, essentially what you're doing is you're trying to guess a celebrity that's behind
it's in a
door.
Sphere.
Yeah, it's a sphere. That's right.
Super sphere.
It's super sphere.
But my daughter calls it the orb.
Oh,
which
I like that.
Which I feel like adds more mystery to it.
Yeah. So, but then their relative, and it's an actual relative, comes out and performs a song, and you're supposed to guess after the clues, who it is.
Yep. And the fastest ones for each round cumulatively. Whoever gets like the fastest cumulative guesses correctly gets to go on to be star player and play for $100,000 grand prize if they guess on the first clue.
Yeah.
And we, out of the episodes we've had so far, we've seen Adam Sanderson in the first episode won $75,000. Shout out Nikki Glazer. What an episode.
Yeah. That was the same one that Joel McHale was on.
Yeah.
And I actually got Nikki Glazer.
Yeah.
But it's just a really interesting, and her, it was her dad, I think, that was on the show.
Yes,
right?
and man, he had some talent.
He had some pipes for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
You can tell talent runs in these families, and I think it's going to be exciting to see how the careers and profiles of some of these more anonymous relatives kind of take off from here. Because hey, now they have our best episode had 4 million views, and that's not counting like streaming services selectively reveal their viewer counts. Yeah. So who knows how many people have seen it on Hulu? But hey, there's a chance 1 million, 2 million people are going to see every episode at least. So it's exciting.
Yeah.
So,
okay. Go ahead.
I was going to say, so part of the principle is it's not just about understanding and knowing music. It's about being able to take in what's happening with the guest singing and then start connecting the dots of who they're related to, right?
Right. Like the music knowledge helps. Music knowledge got me there.
Okay.
Pop culture knowledge kept me there.
Okay.
But you'll see after you watch this week's episode, or last week's as it were, once this releases, the different kinds of pop culture knowledge bases you really have to go on. And even if you don't know a lot about celebrities, you can. It's kind of like in elementary school whenever teachers would put out like those brain teasers with like wordplay and stuff like that on them. There's a lot of wordplay to these clues, and you'll see a few celebrities that people honestly just really got just based on wordplay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of fun to watch. Like kids can easily play along with that if they're good at word puzzles.
Right. Yeah, and picking up clues, and I can look at something, and then my 8-year-old daughter can look at something, and she'll say, "Well, no, Dad, that's not carnival. That's a big top or the circus or whatever." It's just a different way of thinking about it, right?
Yeah, it's like you look at it. For example, a circus. If you see it like a circus tent for a clue, I might be thinking insane clown posse, but if she says no, Dad, that's a big top tent. Hey, maybe it's ZZ Top, maybe Billy Gibbons, maybe the Reverend's behind there.
Yeah, right.
And so what's with having so many people involved? I guess that's where the We Are family comes in is because it starts off with 100 people.
Well,
right?
and it sticks with 100 people, but it's like the network intended it for it just to be We Are family being like the relatives, you know, like the celebrity relatives. But I feel like we all took the name and the gimmick and just kind of made our own meaning out of it. And just really powerful thing. And I hope to write a lot more and show a lot more in the future about like these kind of relationships that came from the show.
Well, and then you have the host, Anthony Anderson. His mom is with him on stage, which she's amazing too.
Oh,
so.
God. Doris is a trip. An absolutely delightful woman. She, like, the producers had to basically talk her out of talking to us as much as she did because she just wanted to go ham it out and, you know, set up bingo nights with everybody, get us all together and have a good time, man. You know, Doris Bowman is an incredible woman. I had so much fun with her.
Well, Anthony Anderson's one of my favorite guys too. I mean, I just think he's a tremendously talented guy.
But this isn't his first game show, though,
I don't think
right?
so.
I mean,
He was a special guest on, I believe it was like Top Chef, I believe. And then he did a reality show traveling with his mom. And he also did guest appearances hosting for other shows. I can't remember off the top of my head,
and
but he's got quite the resume.
Weren't they both on To Tell the Truth?
Yeah, I think that sounds
right.
That
makes sense.
That was a game show I watched, and where they bring in somebody, like 3 people, and okay, So
of course, I remember To Tell the Truth in the like 70s.
Yeah, this was the updated version of it, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So, what kind of guidance do you? I mean, I'm sure you get a ton of it. You mentioned earlier, like, you have specific talking points that you can talk about. So how does that work when you're talking about having a network? How are they advising you and basically telling you what you can and cannot say?
Well, it all goes back to the NDA, you know, and thankfully we had a few lawyers in the cast. So it's like we kind of have a resident legal advisor, you know, and she's like, hey, you know, paragraph 3, section C, subpoint, whatever, says you can't do this. And so we just kind of keep it saved on our phones, or, well, at least I do. I keep it saved on my phone. So that way, anytime somebody asks a question or I need to talk about it, I'm not sure how to phrase it, I just look at that. I'm like, okay, bet. You know, that's what I can and can't say. So I could actually, theoretically, if I won anything, I could have to give it back if I found to be in violation of the NDA. So, so it all goes back to, you know, Richard Nixon, plausible denialism. You know, I can neither confirm nor deny these allegations, right?
That's right.
Yeah, so I have to play that line quite a bit.
And in all honesty, like, you know, the bulk of the people, I imagine, aren't looking to spoil everybody or spoil the show and things like that, right? Like, it'd probably be more innocuous than anything else. But I imagine there are some people out there that, you know, maybe didn't like something that happened on the show and might do something, and that's part of the reason why they have the NDAs, right?
Yeah. And I got to say, almost all the contestants have just done a bang-up job of coming together and watching out for one another to make sure we don't accidentally ruin anything.
Yeah.
It's like every time, because everybody's watching their own pockets as well as each other's.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
Because we don't want to forfeit our money. We don't want the show to get canceled. So we all just kind of self-regulate. Anytime somebody accidentally puts a spoiler out into the public view, we're like, hey, yo, delete that. You know, you messed up. This could be bad. So we've kept a really tight ship.
Yeah. So how long ago did this actually happen?
September and October.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's when they taped it. And then it just started after the first of the year, right?
Yep. January 3rd was the premiere episode.
Yeah.
Okay. So you had to sit on this for a little while.
Oh, yeah. It's like for the longest time, it's like I was kind of like,
you were ticking me off. I'm going to be honest with you. Because I just wanted you to be like, here's the name of the show and when it's coming out. And I was like, man, I know I can't ask that.
Yeah, and it's like I had to keep, you know, I've got a kind of a robust, you know, social media following. And I kind of, through my transition out of, like, you know, living out of state, getting divorced, you know, going through a lot of personal changes, like I've kind of leaned on my social media presence as kind of like, you know, a support in a way. And so everybody, when I had this opportunity, I wanted to tell them all about it, but I had to say, oh, I'm going to television to do a thing, you know, or I'm going for a life-changing opportunity. And, you know, I just kind of talk about it until finally the network was like, go. And then that's just when the purple and gold We Are Family logo just popped up all over social media almost overnight.
Yeah. Well, and I remember the first time I saw, I think you posted something about the name of the show.
Yeah.
And then I saw a commercial for it soon thereafter on TV. And I could just feel myself getting excited about it. I was like, oh man, this is it. This is the one he was talking about. So
yeah, and it's the most exciting aspect of it is for me, it's like, you know, I'm not a business owner, a politician, you know, a particularly like talented or popular person, but I put effort into what I like to do, and I put myself out there, and I just want to serve as like an inspiration to everybody listening, you know, everybody, you know, Chillicothe, Appalachian, beyond. If you have a passion for something, you just try it. You never know who's going to see that potential in you and give you that opportunity. And so I've just learned a lot about, you know, putting myself out there and positive energy into the world. And somebody introduced me to a concept I haven't practiced up until now. Just a few weeks ago, they're like, what is your word for 2024? What was your word for 2023? I'm like, oh, I've never done words for years before, but you know what? I'm going to start. So 2023 was resilience. And now for 2024, it's resurgence. And I've just found a lot of self-confidence from that, you know, filming environment and being able to finally complete a big goal of mine. And this isn't going to be the end. I'm going to keep pushing for bigger and different and better things.
You did kind of spoil something for me, though.
Oh, no.
Because my whole life, I've thought that people just go line up at the door at these game shows and roll in and get invited on. But there's an audition process, and they really do vet out people that they feel will be good characters for the show, right?
Yeah, I had to go through a background check. I had to submit a list of employers like I was applying for a job, because essentially it was a job, you know. And I'm a member of, I'm not just a contestant. They called us cast members. So I'm going to be joining our very own Michael Throne on IMDb, you know, like,
that's right.
I mean, I do say, I assert that I'm the second most famous person at this table, because I mean, come on, you're all over those documentaries, man.
That's right.
I do have that IMDb account. My wife likes to make fun of me about it.
And you don't run the Chillicothe Gazette for like 20 years and not have a few people know who you are.
That's
Come on,
probably
man.
true. For better or for worse, I imagine.
And award-winning podcast.
That's right.
Yeah, there we go,
Davey Award-winning. Feels like home.
Yeah.
So interesting that you said that about cast members, because that does seem to be a different approach to it.
Yeah.
And I guess one of my questions would be, you know, obviously you said you submit audition tapes for stuff like that. What goes into that audition tape? What are you saying? What are you trying to, I mean, obviously what you're trying to achieve is show personality and get on the show, but what do you do and how do you do it?
Yeah. Like the casting, they have casting producers, story producers, you know, they've got a producer for everything you can think of on the set. Right. But we had basically producers that were set aside to help coach you for like your audition tapes and things like that. So that they were like, okay, so take your energy that you think is normally a 10 and dial that up. They wanted to see big reactions. They wanted to see big faces. They wanted to see you pop. And so it's like how I normally get, and you've seen me, how I normally get whenever I'm just messing around with guys with a few beers and with my friends. I take that kind of personality and I channel that into like who I really am. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I was just, the info dumping that I find myself doing with friends or, you know, on dates, regrettably, you know, I took that kind of info dumping and the talking with hands that I'm doing right now. Yeah. I did a lot of that on my audition, and they basically just want us to talk about ourselves, do a few like pop culture, like quizzes and stuff like that throughout the process. And then like, it's almost like a video essay that they're like, you know, pick a celebrity that means something. Okay. It was like, pick a celebrity that you want to meet and tell us why. And I was like, I did that. And they're like, okay, now pick another and tell us why for that one. Oh, wow. And they just really dug deep into like our pop culture knowledge base to make sure like, hey, you know, the people that we're bringing in, do they mean something to these guys, or and vice versa, you know?
And you're how old?
35.
So you're 35. So I would imagine that most people would look at you as a 35-year-old and say, he's going to like certain people that were, big in the 90s or whatever.
Right,
but you dig a lot deeper than that. You're a big 70s rock person. So that probably helped you a bunch, didn't it?
I have never talked about Toto as much in my life as I did during the audition process. I can assert I'm probably the biggest Toto fan in Ross County.
I agree with that.
And I don't think there's anybody willing to challenge me for that mantle, let me tell you.
Yeah. So we'll take a quick aside here, and I'll ask you the Weezer cover of Africa, like or not?
I think that expression kind of...
Yes. Okay.
I will take Toto's cover of Hash Pipe any day. Steve Lukather right after... so Weezer did the Africa cover, and Toto wanted to play with Weezer and kind of, like as a thank you or whatever, and Rivers Cuomo just kind of blew Toto off.
Oh, boy.
So Steve Lukather's like, forget you, man. We're doing Hash Pipe, and we're doing it with crazy 80s synth and crunching Luke guitar, and it was epic.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say.
All right. Well, there you go. All right. Sorry, I took us down a path there. Well, I think it's interesting that, you talk about like taking it and going to another level, because I don't know, one, as a good friend of yours, I don't know that I want to see you at 20.
Oh my God.
Because I've definitely seen it at 10 plus. But I mean, that's really what it's all about, though. I mean, the game show that I remember really that kind of brought that home was Press Your Luck with the whammies and the whole thing. Because those people got pretty crazy about their reactions and trying to, stop the battle and the whole deal.
Yeah.
So.
Oh my God. If I ever hear the phrase big reactions out of somebody again, I'm going to walk off a ledge. That was all the producer said between takes, before shots, before celebrities came out. Like, all right, everybody, big reactions, big reactions. It's kind of like, you know how this goes, trying to get a kid to take a picture and look at the camera. I felt like the producers had like a little toy that they were clicking above the camera the whole time to get our attention. Because I tell you, some of those filming days were long.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. And, it takes like 4 hours of filming for one 45-minute episode. It's nuts.
Yeah, so it goes back to, they do the same thing with theater. The one of the things that I was told the first time I ever jumped on the stage to act was make your emotions way bigger than that even makes you feel uncomfortable, because it gets lost on the stage. And I'm sure the same thing happens on TV.
Oh, no. And I had a lot of practice doing that as Chief Crazy Horse for the Chillicothe Paints from 2004 to 2006. I was pulling double duty after, football practice, after 2-a-days. My crazy self would go lug out that 20-pound wool costume and represent Chillicothe baseball as everybody's favorite politically incorrect horse mascot. And God, what a good time it was.
But you're right that you have to do everything a little bigger.
Everything has to be big.
Yeah, because if you're running as a mascot, it almost looks like you're speed walking in a way, since you have all that extra space.
Yeah.
So it's like a lot of times you'd see me running around at the Paints games. I would actually be sprinting under that thing. And that's probably how I got in good enough shape to be captain of the wrestling team my senior year.
There you go.
You can't give away stuff that's coming up, obviously, but tell us a little bit about, are there really big, and I've seen some pretty exciting moments on the show already. Are there bigger and more exciting moments coming?
Let me put it this way. You've known me to some degree, better for worse, for 20 years now, right?
Right.
So the celebrities that are on my episode, I feel like I can say this, are actually very on brand for me.
Okay.
And that's why I'm so excited to share that with everybody, because it's
awesome.
going to be big for me.
Yeah,
that's cool.
And we're not there. Look, there's no spoilers. He's not going to tell you what day that episode's coming out or anything like that.
Right.
You just got to watch every week until you see him.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
That's the right way to do it.
Or you can binge it with the whole family on Hulu.
That's
There you
right.
go.
But now there's a few celebrities that really just kind of really do bring the house down.
Yeah, I bet.
And I mean, you saw how everybody turned out for Joel McHale and Nikki Glazer. Magic in the studio that day.
Yeah.
As a community junkie, oof, dream come true.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, I just out of left field, I didn't catch it at all.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
And I think, that's part of the fun when you watch game shows on TV, especially ones that are either trivia or pop culture based, is the fun of knowing it before they say it on TV, whether it's the Wheel of Fortune puzzle or whatever, right? That's the fun of it.
Yeah, the play along factor at home is big. you've always had that with, I mean, you go way back, every game show. That's the beauty of watching game shows. But I feel like lately it's all been about the reveal.
Yeah. Cause
right?
I mean, Masked Singer, obviously,
Right.
you know, part of that Fox family, part of that same production team. And you're going to, there was this TikTok video. I know we're talking a lot about content creation before we started taping. I saw this amazing TikTok video sending up the whole mystery celebrity genre, and it's called Guess the Leg. And, you know, I'm going to drop that in the comments for people to enjoy whenever you guys post this. But no, they're starting to parody that concept quite a bit. And when you've reached the point where you're starting to get parodied, hey, that's when you know that you've really made a cultural touchstone.
That's right.
And oh my God. You know what? I just realized that there is a very remote possibility that some of us might get lampooned on SNL at some point. Oh my God, fingers crossed.
Right. Well, and I mean that, in all honesty, like when we started to see American Idol and The Bachelor get lampooned on Saturday Night Live, and maybe some of the late night talk shows, like that's when you know that pop culture has reached, you know, a pretty frenetic pace, right?
Never forget back in like 2008, 2009, like I was just, you know, playing Age of Empires 2 on my computer as I'm wont to do. And like my parents were watching Idol in the other room, and my mom, like they had started doing a lot of like the guest judges, guest mentors, things like that. And my parents would trick me. They'd be like, Tyler, oh my God, Steve Perry is on Idol right now. And I would like vault over like the dog gate and trip over, rushing out just to see Steve Perry. And it would just actually be Selena Gomez or something. I'd be like, come on. Like I almost broke my leg when my mom said, Bob Seger's on the TV. And at some point I just kind of gave up playing those games.
Yeah, right. Like, all right, just make sure you record it so I can watch it later.
Sure.
Right.
I'll watch it on Hulu.
Yeah. So it's important to note that you are not your career is not being a game show contestant.
Right.
Although a guy can dream, right?
Ideally.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to keep grinding.
You've written a couple books. You're actually working at Hurley.
Yes.
Moving and Storage.
Yeah. So shout out to Joe Hurley. I had a bit of a struggle phase coming back to Chillicothe after trying to tough it out in Columbus by myself for a little bit. And Joe saw that personality in me. I've had a lot of experience in sales and customer service. And I guess those big reactions really helped in the interview process too, because I've had a few bad moves, you know, like stuff getting broken, stuff getting lost, having to give stuff away. And working as a moving consultant, you know, essentially I wear a few hats. I'm an estimator. I go into people's homes. I guess how much everything weighs, and I do my best to make sure everything's taken care of.
Right.
You know, and I do a lot of customer service and busy work, and like legit, like I've even went out on a move before to help out to see how the guys work. And of course that's no cakewalk.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And so like Hurley, he is really trying to like, you know, turn a new page and really just kind of get back to like they are the oldest Mayflower company, oldest Mayflower agent in the nation. The Hurleys have been doing business in Chillicothe for 100 years now. Yeah. And it's a privilege, honestly, to be part of such a good operation. And I'm really looking forward to the busy season. So, you know, if you're a local realtor, if you have any hands in getting people in and out of homes, shout out to Kelsey.
That's right.
Like, hey, let's get together. Let's make some business. Let's help Chillicothe grow.
Yeah. And, you know, I appreciate also your honesty about just the rough patch that you went through, because I think it's important for folks to understand, like, you know, it's easy to come on here and talk about how things are right now and how exciting it is. But, you know, a lot of folks don't talk about the dark times. And they were tough for you. And I appreciate the fact that you kept grinding and kept doing what you could. You're there for your daughter, and I appreciate that as well. Yeah. As a daughter, you know, these are girl dads right here. Right.
Table full of girl dads right here.
Right.
So, you know, I appreciate you. And I did want to ask you about the books too, because you wrote 3 books, or at least released 3 books within a really short period of time, really relatively.
Yeah. So, of course, the big one I want to talk about is a thriller novel called All In. It is basically Breaking Bad if it took place in Columbus, Ohio. Just kind of like a pulpy, page-turning action thriller, right? But, of course, it has my signature kind of like humor, pop culture awareness, and a little bit of like satirical and political commentary put into it too. And it's 5 stars on Amazon 2 years after release. So, the sequel is coming. The sequel is coming someday. And then, of course, I'm kind of reframing my approach to I do songwriting, lyrics and poetry as well. And I did a few books that were kind of trauma dumpy in a way, with some really experimental humor and commentary and things like that in there. And I just don't think with the potential new audience, I don't think they know enough of the background to really get the inside jokes or the satire behind a lot of that writing.
Right.
So I'm kind of reframing my best work into kind of a greatest hits collection, if you will.
All right.
Again, I have a very musical approach to everything. Honestly, I should be in the music industry if we can all be frank here. But no, so I'm going to release eventually a best of collection of my best poetry and things like that too.
Yeah. Well, on the music side of things, the recording workshop can hook you up.
That's right.
I just had Paul on recently, and that group out there, they do some great work. So
I definitely love to connect with them eventually. And I've been friends with people that have worked there or ran the place on and off, for a significant portion of my life. And being involved in the music industry to some degree, that's one of those long-term things. I'd love to get there eventually. I said, I would do anything for smooth music.
Yeah. Where would you like this to go now with the, you mentioned this seems like something that you can, number one, that you love doing and that you're going to put your all into.
Right.
Do you look at acting as a thing that you would like to do, or do you look at other things?
I would love to get into acting.
Okay.
So a shout out to previous Feels Like Home guest, Daniel Griesheimer.
Yeah.
He and I are good friends.
Okay.
And so I'm going to try to take some of his classes at OUC coming up.
Great.
I'm going to be trying to learn from local comedians like Lori Graves. And I've been really good friends with Kylie Dills here recently doing, there's multiple open mic nights starting up in Chillicothe now.
Yeah.
Wobbly Ghost, there's going to be one at, the bowling alley, Shawnee Lane. So, the comedy scene is really coming up in Chillicothe, and I'm trying to get my foot in on that to keep my, wits about me quite a bit. So, I'm definitely looking for my next auditions here soon, and I'm all about show business, baby. That's what I'm going to keep grinding towards.
Well, and I mean, we've had a couple different movies in the last 4 or 5 years that were filmed here. Nicole Riegel did the movie that she did. I can't remember the name of it now, but she did a great job with that movie. That had some pretty good names in it. Timothy Chalamet filmed some scenes from his movie, here as well. So, I mean, there's always opportunities like that as well. I know a couple people that were in Nicole's film. So
and shout out to one of my biggest influences, Donald Ray Pollock.
Yeah.
All of his books take place essentially in or around Chillicothe.
Yeah.
And so there's always going to be movie opportunities, I feel like, with his body of work too.
Yeah.
You got to film his projects around here. You got to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that. And along those lines, he's like a bucket list guy that we want to get on the show.
Yeah.
So if you're listening,
Don,
Yeah.
you got to get on here.
Yeah.
Please.
I'd love to hear more from you, man.
Well, listen, we're gonna wrap up, and the one thing I want to tell you is I'm glad that you're having fun, because to me, that is that's the most important thing.
And that's infectious too, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So We Are Family on Fox every Wednesday night at 9:00. If you can't catch it there, catch it on Hulu. Where can they find your books?
All In is the one that's currently actively listed. It's primarily on Amazon, but also any Hudson-oriented bookstore. Locally, Wheatberry carries copies of it, so swing by Wheatberry. And, of course, you can request it through your local library system. Books A Million also sells it, and there's various international resellers, too. So I have books in 17 countries right now.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
They're better traveled than we are, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly.
Better than me, too. Yeah, I'm with you.
Well, hey, once again, super excited for you and this opportunity for you. I'm looking forward to the episodes that are coming up. And what else didn't I talk about that you need to talk about?
Well, I just want to, shout out my hometown. Chillicothe is who I am, no matter where I've went. And if I can't make myself proud, if I can make my community proud, I'm going to go for it. And I hope I've inspired and entertained, and that's what I'm going to continue to push for, whether it's, the stand-up, the acting, or if I'm just hamming it up at Hurley or as a part-time server at the poorhouse. I'm just out there trying to make people laugh and forget about their problems, because I needed that. People have done that for me, and I'm just paying it forward, baby.
Yeah. There you go.
That's right.
Well, thanks again for coming on. We appreciate it, and good luck to you.
Yeah, thanks, Mike, and thank you all very much. It's been a pleasure, and look forward to meeting up with all y'all again soon.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're listening to the Feels Like Home podcast with Mike Throne and Marty Ford. Powered by Horizon. This is big. This is gig.
It feels a little strange, but I don't feel alone. We just settled in